Question 1. What is the primary purpose of obtaining a California Firearm Safety Certificate, FSC? A. To legally carry a concealed firearm in California. B. To demonstrate proficiency with various firearm types. C. To prove knowledge of firearm safety rules and laws before purchasing or acquiring a firearm. D. To register all firearms owned with the state of California. Answer: C. To prove knowledge of firearm safety rules and laws before purchasing or acquiring a firearm. The California Firearm Safety Certificate, FSC, is a prerequisite for purchasing or acquiring a handgun, rifle, or shotgun in California, with few exceptions. Its main purpose is to ensure that individuals have a fundamental understanding of firearm safety principles, responsible handling, and relevant California firearm laws. Passing the FSC exam demonstrates this basic knowledge, making you eligible to proceed with the legal acquisition process through a licensed dealer. Think of it as your foundational permit to buy a firearm safely and legally in California. Question 2. Before cleaning any firearm, what is the most critical first step to ensure safety? A. Gather all cleaning supplies. B. Ensure the firearm is unloaded and visually verify it. C. Read the firearm's owner's manual. D. Put on eye protection. Answer: B. Ensure the firearm is unloaded and visually verify it. The absolute most critical step before cleaning any firearm is to verify that it is unloaded, both by physically removing the magazine, if applicable, and visually and physically inspecting the chamber. This eliminates the possibility of an accidental discharge during handling, which is paramount for safety. Always treat every firearm as if it were loaded until you have personally and thoroughly checked its condition. This fundamental safety practice prevents unintended consequences when you begin disassembly or maintenance. Question 3. What is the legal waiting period for a firearm purchase or transfer in California, as of current laws? A. 3 days. B. 7 days. C. 10 days. D. 30 days. Answer: C. 10 days. In California, there is a mandatory 10-day waiting period between the date of purchase or transfer of a firearm and the date it can be picked up from the licensed firearms dealer, FFL. This period allows time for background checks to be completed and for a cooling-off period, preventing impulse purchases. The waiting period applies to handguns, rifles, and shotguns alike, ensuring a standardized process for all firearm acquisitions. Always account for this mandatory delay when planning a firearm purchase. Question 4. Which of the following is considered a prohibited person under California law and is therefore generally unable to purchase or possess a firearm? A. A person with a history of minor traffic violations. B. A person convicted of a felony. C. A person who has previously failed the FSC exam. D. A person under the age of 21 who is purchasing a rifle. Answer: B. A person convicted of a felony. California law, consistent with federal law, prohibits individuals convicted of a felony offense from purchasing or possessing firearms. This restriction applies to various other categories as well, such as certain misdemeanor domestic violence convictions or individuals subject to specific restraining orders. Understanding who is prohibited from owning firearms is crucial for public safety and for legal compliance in the firearm community. Always be aware that serious criminal convictions can result in a lifetime ban on firearm possession. Question 5. When transporting a handgun in a vehicle in California, it must generally be: A. Loaded and placed in the glove compartment. B. Unloaded and locked in a secure container. C. Stored under the seat, unloaded. D. Loaded and openly visible on the passenger seat. Answer: B. Unloaded and locked in a secure container. When transporting a handgun in a vehicle in California, it must be unloaded and placed in a locked container, separate from any ammunition. This container can be the trunk, a locked box, or a locked gun case. The locked container requirement aims to prevent unauthorized access and enhance public safety during transit. Remember that even if you have a concealed carry permit, this rule generally applies unless you are actively carrying the firearm on your person. Question 6. What is the definition of a safe direction when handling a firearm? A. Any direction away from yourself. B. A direction that, if the firearm were to discharge, would cause no injury to people and minimal property damage. C. The direction the firearm is pointed when holstered. D. Towards the target area at all times. Answer. B. A direction that, if the firearm were to discharge, would cause no injury to people and minimal property damage. A safe direction is paramount in firearm safety and means pointing the muzzle of a firearm in a direction where an accidental discharge would not harm anyone and would cause the least amount of property damage. This typically involves pointing it towards the ground or a sturdy backstop that can absorb a bullet. Always being mindful of where your muzzle is pointed is the cornerstone of responsible firearm handling and is often called muzzle control. Question 7. A squib load is a dangerous malfunction characterized by A. The primer igniting but failing to ignite the propellant, resulting in a weak pop and the bullet lodging in the barrel. B. A delayed ignition of the propellant, causing a hangfire. C. Too much propellant, leading to excessive recoil. D. A bullet failing to seat properly in the casing. Answer. A. The primer igniting but failing to ignite the propellant, resulting in a weak pop and the bullet lodging in the barrel. A squib load, also known as a squib or underpowered load, occurs when the primer fires but there is insufficient or no propellant to push the bullet completely out of the barrel, causing it to become lodged. This is extremely dangerous because firing another round behind the lodged bullet can cause catastrophic damage to the firearm and potentially serious injury to the shooter. If you hear a weak pop instead of a bang or feel unusually light recoil, immediately stop shooting, point the firearm in a safe direction, and carefully inspect the barrel for obstructions. Question 8. For what duration is a California Firearm Safety Certificate, FSC, valid? A. 1 year. B. 2 years. C. 5 years. D. 10 years. Answer. C. 5 years. A California Firearm Safety Certificate, FSC, is valid for a period of 5 years from the date of issuance. After this 5-year period, if you wish to purchase or acquire another firearm, you will need to retake the FSC exam and obtain a new certificate. This validity period ensures that individuals periodically refresh their knowledge of firearm safety rules and California laws. Keep track of your FSC's expiration date to avoid delays in future firearm transactions. Question 9. When should your finger be placed on the trigger of a firearm? A. As soon as you pick up the firearm. B. Only when your sights are aligned on the target and you have made the decision to shoot. C. When you are ready to load the firearm. D. While aiming down the sights at any time. Answer. B. Only when your sights are aligned on the target and you have made the decision to shoot. The rule of trigger discipline dictates that your finger should remain off the trigger and outside the trigger guard until your sights are aligned on the target and you are ready to fire. This prevents accidental discharges that can occur from startling, stumbling, or sudden movements. Always keep your finger straight and off the trigger, resting it on the frame or slide, until the precise moment you intend to shoot. This discipline is crucial for preventing unintended negligent discharges. Question 10. In California, what safety feature is generally required on all new handguns sold, designed to indicate if there is a round in the chamber? A. A manual safety lever. B. A magazine disconnect mechanism. C. A loaded chamber indicator, LCI. D. A firing pin block. Answer. C. A loaded chamber indicator, LCI. California law generally requires that new handguns sold in the state be equipped with a loaded chamber indicator, LCI, which visually and/or tactily signals whether a round is present in the chamber. This feature enhances safety by allowing the user to quickly and easily determine the firearm's loaded status without manipulating the slide or chamber. While not a substitute for proper safety checks, an LCI provides an extra layer of awareness. Question 11. What is the purpose of the Dealer Record of Sale (DROS) process in California? A. To register the firearm with the state for public display. B. To facilitate the transfer of firearm ownership through a licensed dealer and conduct a background check. C. To allow private citizens to sell firearms directly to each other without oversight. D. To waive the 10-day waiting period for firearm purchases. Answer: B. To facilitate the transfer of firearm ownership through a licensed dealer and conduct a background check. The Dealer Record of Sale (DROS) process is California's system for tracking firearm transfers and conducting mandatory background checks on purchasers. When you buy a firearm from a licensed dealer, the DROS system is used to submit your information to the California Department of Justice for a thorough check of your eligibility to own a firearm. This ensures that only individuals legally permitted to possess firearms can acquire them, enhancing public safety. Question 12. What is the minimum age to purchase a handgun from a licensed firearms dealer in California? A. 18 years old. B. 21 years old. C. 25 years old. D. 16 years old, with parental consent. Answer: B. 21 years old. In California, the minimum age to purchase a handgun from a licensed firearms dealer is 21 years old. This age requirement is in place to ensure that individuals acquiring handguns are considered mature enough for the responsibility associated with firearm ownership. While there are some narrow exceptions for law enforcement or military personnel, the general rule for civilian handgun purchases is strictly 21 years of age. Question 13. What is the most effective way to store firearms in a home where children or unauthorized persons might be present? A. Unloaded, hidden under a bed or in a closet. B. Loaded, but kept out of sight. C. Unloaded, locked in a safe or with a California-approved firearm safety device. D. Loaded, in a locked container with the key readily accessible. Answer: C. Unloaded, locked in a safe or with a California-approved firearm safety device. The most effective and legally compliant method for storing firearms in a home with children or unauthorized persons is to keep them unloaded and secured with a California-approved firearm safety device, such as a trigger lock, cable lock, or within a locked safe. This prevents accidental access and misuse, significantly reducing the risk of injuries or theft. Responsible storage is a cornerstone of firearm safety, especially in households with children. Question 14. What should you do if you encounter a hangfire while shooting? A. Immediately open the action to clear the firearm. B. Quickly fire another round to clear the chamber. C. Maintain the firearm pointed in a safe direction for at least 30 seconds before carefully opening the action. D. Hand the firearm to another person for inspection. Answer: C. Maintain the firearm pointed in a safe direction for at least 30 seconds before carefully opening the action. A hangfire is a delayed ignition of the cartridge, meaning the primer fired but the propellant took a few moments to ignite. If you hear a click, but no bang, it's crucial to keep the firearm pointed in a safe direction for at least 30 seconds, some recommend longer, before attempting to clear it. Opening the action prematurely could cause the round to fire out of battery, leading to serious injury. Waiting ensures that if it's a hangfire, the delayed discharge happens safely within the firearm. Question 15. What is the legal requirement regarding the sale of a firearm between two private citizens in California? A. It can be done directly, without any paperwork. B. It must be conducted through a licensed federal firearms license, FFL, dealer. C. It requires only a notarized bill of sale. D. It is only permitted if both parties possess a concealed carry weapon, CCW, permit. Answer. B. It must be conducted through a licensed federal firearms license, FFL, dealer. In California, all private party firearm transfers, including sales, loans, or gifts, must go through a licensed federal firearms license, FFL, dealer. Both the seller and the buyer must go to the FFL, where the buyer completes the necessary DROS paperwork and undergoes a background check. This requirement ensures that all firearm transfers are subject to legal scrutiny and that only eligible individuals acquire firearms, enhancing public safety. Question 16. Eye and ear protection should be worn. A. Only when shooting indoors. B. Only when shooting a handgun. C. At all times when shooting firearms. D. Only by spectators at the range. Answer. C. At all times when shooting firearms. Eye and ear protection are essential safety gear and must be worn at all times by anyone present on a firing range when firearms are being discharged. Hearing protection safeguards against permanent hearing damage caused by the extremely loud noise of gunshots, while eye protection shields against hot brass, gunpowder residue, or other debris that can cause serious eye injury. Prioritizing these protective measures is crucial for your long-term health and safety at the range. Question 17. What is the purpose of a magazine disconnect mechanism, MDM, on a handgun, as often required by California law for new sales? A. To prevent unauthorized persons from loading the magazine. B. To prevent the firearm from firing when the magazine is removed. C. To lock the magazine into place permanently. D. To indicate when the magazine is empty. Answer. B. To prevent the firearm from firing when the magazine is removed. A magazine disconnect mechanism, MDM, is a safety feature on some handguns that prevents the firearm from firing if the magazine is not fully inserted or is removed. This safety feature aims to prevent accidental discharges, particularly during cleaning or handling, when a shooter might mistakenly believe the firearm is unloaded because the magazine has been removed. It serves as an additional layer of safety, reinforcing the importance of always checking the chamber. Question 18. What is the most effective way to prevent unauthorized access to firearms in your home, especially by curious children? A. Keeping them in a locked car. B. Storing them unloaded and separate from ammunition, in a locked container or safe. C. Hiding them in various places around the house. D. Teaching children not to touch them. Answer. B. Storing them unloaded and separate from ammunition, in a locked container or safe. The most effective way to prevent unauthorized access to firearms, particularly by children, is to store them unloaded and separate from ammunition in a locked container, such as a gun safe, or secured with a California-approved firearms safety device. While education is important, secure storage physically prevents curious hands from accessing firearms and significantly reduces the risk of accidental shootings or theft. Secure storage is a fundamental responsibility of firearm ownership. Question 19. What does the term, know your target and what is beyond it, mean in firearm safety? A. Only shoot at designated paper targets. B. Be aware of everything in front of and behind your target to ensure your shot does not harm unintended persons or property. C. Only shoot at targets that are within a designated safety zone. D. Ensure your target is clearly visible before shooting. Answer. B. Be aware of everything in front of and behind your target to ensure your shot does not harm unintended persons or property. Know your target and what is beyond it means that before you ever take a shot, you must be absolutely certain of what you are aiming at and what lies in the bullet's path behind your intended target. Bullets can travel long distances and penetrate many materials, posing a risk to people or property far beyond your immediate target. Always ensure a safe backstop that can contain the bullet, and always consider the full trajectory of your projectile. Question 20. When purchasing a long gun, rifle or shotgun, in California, What is the minimum age requirement from a licensed dealer? A. 18 years old. B. 21 years old. C. 16 years old, with parental consent. D. 25 years old. Answer: B. 21 years old. As of January 1, 2019, California law requires individuals to be at least 21 years old to purchase any firearm, including rifles and shotguns, from a licensed firearms dealer. There are narrow exceptions for individuals who are 18 to 20 years old if they possess a valid hunting license, are active duty military, or specific law enforcement personnel. However, the general civilian minimum age for long gun purchases is now 21 years old. Question 21. What action should you take immediately if your firearm has a malfunction and you need to clear it? A. Point the firearm in a safe direction. B. Hand the firearm to an instructor. C. Rapidly cycle the action several times. D. Place the firearm on the bench and step away. Answer: A. Point the firearm in a safe direction. Regardless of the type of malfunction, the immediate and most critical first step is to point the firearm in a safe direction. This ensures that if the malfunction resolves itself and the firearm discharges unexpectedly, no one will be injured and no property will be damaged. Only after securing a safe direction should you attempt to identify and clear the malfunction, following established safety procedures like tap, rack, bang. Question 22. Which of the following is a key characteristic of safe ammunition storage? A. Storing ammunition loosely in a drawer. B. Keeping ammunition accessible near the firearm. C. Storing ammunition in a cool, dry place, separate from firearms and out of reach of unauthorized persons. D. Storing ammunition with the firearm in a loaded magazine for quick access. Answer: C. Storing ammunition in a cool, dry place, separate from firearms and out of reach of unauthorized persons. Safe ammunition storage involves keeping it in its original packaging or in a suitable container, in a cool, dry place, and most importantly, separate from firearms and inaccessible to unauthorized individuals, especially children. This prevents accidental loading and misuse, as well as maintaining the ammunition's integrity and reliability. Properly storing ammunition is as important as properly storing firearms for overall safety. Question 23. What is the fundamental principle of responsible firearm ownership, beyond basic safety rules? A. Owning as many firearms as possible. B. Understanding and adhering to all applicable laws and regulations. C. Displaying firearms prominently in the home. D. Carrying a firearm at all times. Answer: B. Understanding and adhering to all applicable laws and regulations. Responsible firearm ownership extends beyond just handling a firearm safely. It crucially involves understanding and strictly adhering to all federal, state, and local laws and regulations related to firearm acquisition, possession, storage, transportation, and use. Ignorance of the law is not an excuse, and compliance ensures you are a law-abiding and safe gun owner. Staying informed about changes in firearm laws is an ongoing responsibility. Question 24. A firearm in California is generally considered loaded if A. It has a magazine inserted, regardless of whether there's a round in the chamber. B. A live cartridge is in the chamber, magazine, or attached loading device, or is carried on the person with the firearm. C. It is not secured with a trigger lock. D. It has been recently fired. Answer: B. A live cartridge is in the chamber, magazine, or attached loading device, or is carried on the person with the firearm. Under California law, a firearm is considered loaded if a live cartridge is in the chamber, or if a live cartridge is in any attached magazine or loading device, or is carried on the person with the firearm. This broad definition means that even if a round is not in the chamber, but is in a magazine inserted into the firearm is legally considered loaded. Understanding this definition is critical for compliance with laws regarding carrying firearms in public. Question 25. Who is authorized to conduct the transfer of a firearm in California? A. Any adult over 21 years old. B. A licensed federal firearms license, FFL, dealer. C. The California Department of Justice directly. D. A certified firearms safety instructor. Answer: B. A licensed federal firearms license, FFL, dealer. In California, all firearm transfers, whether from a dealer to a private citizen, or a private party transfer between two citizens, must be conducted through a licensed federal firearms license, FFL, dealer. FFLs are the only entities legally authorized to initiate the DROS process, conduct background checks, and handle the physical transfer of firearms to ensure compliance with state and federal laws. This centralized process helps prevent firearms from falling into prohibited hands. Question 26. When handling a firearm, what should you always assume about its condition? A. It is unloaded. B. It is loaded. C. It is safe to handle. D. It is ready to fire. Answer: B. It is loaded. The most fundamental safety rule is to always treat every firearm as if it were loaded, even if you are absolutely certain it is not. This constant assumption instills a mindset of extreme caution and ensures that you always apply all safety rules, such as muzzle control and trigger discipline, regardless of the firearm's actual status. This vigilance prevents complacency and greatly reduces the risk of accidental discharges. Question 27. What is generally required for most individuals to purchase or acquire any type of firearm, handgun, rifle, or shotgun, in California? A. A hunting license. B. Proof of residency in California for at least 5 years. C. A California Firearm Safety Certificate, FSC. D. Membership in a certified shooting club. Answer: C. A California Firearm Safety Certificate, FSC. For most individuals seeking to purchase or acquire any type of firearm in California, possessing a valid California Firearm Safety Certificate, FSC, is a mandatory requirement. The FSC demonstrates that the individual has passed a written test on firearms safety laws and practices, proving a basic level of knowledge required for responsible firearm ownership. This certificate is a key step in the legal firearm acquisition process in the state. Question 28. If you are handling a firearm and drop it, what should be your immediate reaction? A. Try to catch it before it hits the ground. B. Let it fall, then ensure it is pointed in a safe direction before picking it up. C. Immediately pick it up and check for damage. D. Announce loudly that you dropped your firearm. Answer: B. Let it fall, then ensure it is pointed in a safe direction before picking it up. If you drop a firearm, the safest immediate reaction is to let it fall. Attempting to catch a falling firearm can inadvertently cause an accidental discharge if your finger contacts the trigger. Once it has fallen, ensure it is pointed in a safe direction before carefully picking it up, then immediately perform a safety check to ensure it is unloaded and undamaged. Prioritizing safety over saving the firearm from a ding is paramount. Question 29. What is the main benefit of regular cleaning and maintenance for a firearm? A. It makes the firearm look better. B. It increases the resale value of the firearm. C. It ensures reliable and safe operation, and extends the firearm's lifespan. D. It allows you to disassemble and reassemble the firearm quickly. Answer: C. It ensures reliable and safe operation, and extends the firearm's lifespan. Regular cleaning and maintenance are crucial for ensuring the reliable and safe operation of any firearm, as well as extending its overall lifespan. Accumulated dirt, carbon, and debris can lead to malfunctions, failures to feed, or failures to extract, which can be dangerous. Proper lubrication prevents wear and tear, ensuring that all components move smoothly and the firearm performs as designed when needed. Question 30. What is the general rule regarding carrying a loaded firearm in public in California? A. It is generally permitted as long as the firearm is openly displayed. B. It is generally prohibited, unless authorized by a specific permit like a concealed carry weapon, CCW, license, or other legal exemption. C. It is permitted if you have a valid Firearm Safety Certificate, FSC. D. It is only permitted on private property with the owner's consent. Answer: B. It is generally prohibited, unless authorized by a specific permit like a concealed carry weapon, CCW, license, or other legal exemption. In California, carrying a loaded firearm in public, whether openly or concealed, is generally prohibited. The primary exception to this general prohibition is for individuals who possess a valid concealed carry weapon, CCW, license issued by their local sheriff or police chief, or if they fall under very specific legal exemptions such as being a sworn peace officer. The FSC allows you to purchase firearms, but does not grant the right to carry them loaded in public.